Hello, everyone. My name is Mark Anthony with reversingneuropathy.com. I love that word, reversingneuropathy.com. Today here we have Dr. Brian Prax here with us. This is the second time we've had him on the show. I am excited. Thank you so much, Doctor, for being here on the show with us.
I am so excited to be here with you today, Mark. I'm really looking forward to sharing some great content for your viewers and for your listeners. So thanks for inviting me again.
Oh, of course. And of course, this is the Holy Grail book. My friends, if you have not purchased this, you want to get this. If you know anybody in your family, you have friends, maybe it's you. I tell you what, there's so many people right now that struggle with neuropathy. And I'll be the first one to tell you, I have a lot of friends that do. We have a beautiful topic today, and I'm not going to spoil the topic. But before we do, I want to talk a little bit about what neuropathy says on the internet. Let's take a look at that together before we start, if you don't mind, Doctor.
I would love that.
Awesome.
Thank you for the Holy Grail. I thought that's great. I've never heard that for my book, but
the Holy Grail. I know.
Really well, my patients really give me good responses on it. And I'm not trying to impress people or pat my back here, but I really try to impress upon people that neuropathy is reversible, and that's really our big goal.
No, I love it. And you know, the problem is that we have a lot of people, a lot of even doctors will tell you that's not reversible.
Mm-hmm.
Neuropathy is not reversible. I remember in 2017, I was having a problem with my eyes. I felt like there was a contact stuck. Long story short, I went to go see the doctor. The doctor said, you need to go see a eye specialist, doctor. So I went to OHSU, one of the #1 doctor for eyes in Portland, Oregon. And they said, I wish you would have seen us sooner. You're going to probably be blind in the next 2 or 3 days. And I said, what are you talking about? They said, you have an advanced glaucoma, which your eyes are being degenerate every hour on the hour. You are losing, basically they're called eye cells. When a cell dies, a strand of your vision dies. And okay, I cried for about 30 seconds and I was like, all right, what's the good news? The good news, the lady said, was I am the #1 glaucoma specialist in Portland, Oregon, and I can do this. And I said, all right. I go, let's do this. I believe that God put you in my life to get my eyes back together. Long story short, after 4 surgeries, guys, 4 surgeries in 30 days, I should not have been able to see. I see 20/20 with my eyeglasses, and by the grace of God, I'm able to see. So the reason why I'm telling you guys a story is that when I first came to the doctor said, most likely you're going to be blind 97%.
Jeez.
We do not want to go by with what anybody tells you, whether a doctor, I don't care if they're an MD, an NWA, MBA.
Mm-hmm.
God is the main doctor. And once we start to realize that he's given these gifts, our bodies to heal. Our bodies were created to heal. And the reason why this long-landed story is because I believe in with what you do, doctor. You are telling people you can reverse this. And I'm just telling my viewers out there, if you know someone with diabetes, struggling with numbness, back pain, pinky toe pain, I don't care, it could be earlobe pain, share the video, get it out there, because guess what? One video, one podcast, we're on Spotify too, can change somebody's life. And guess what? At the end of the day, when you leave this beautiful earth, it's not about how much money you made. It's about how much quality time you're able to spend with your loved ones. And it's about impacting others. But as we go into this, I went to mayoclinic.org, and the definition of basically neuropathy is a result of damage to the nerves located. Peripheral neuropathy often causes weakness, numbness, and pain, usually in the hands and feet. It can also affect other areas and body functions, including digestion, urination, and circulation. Now, I was also looking at another place, also on Google. pretty much says the same thing, but it says it a little bit different. It says the damage from neuropathy, there are ways to help manage the condition. Hear the word, guys, manage the condition, including lowering your blood sugar, treating nerve pain, regularly checking your feet to make sure they are free of injury, wounds, and infection. This is all from Dr. Google. I'm not here bagging on Google. I love you, Google, by the way. The point is that sometimes we get we get the wrong information that's being put up, and we get too much information overload. And then, so with this being said, what got me really excited, everyone out there in internet land, was Dr. Brian has I guess I can call it a system, but I believe it's for $289. He has this video module system of him talking to you, and not just talking about neuropathy, but how to literally reverse it, how to come from pain level to lowering that pain to almost depletion of being gone. Knowledge is power. The number one thing that I've learned in life is it's what a man thinks, he becomes. What I'm a little frustrated, but I'm excited about at the same time, one is that you have a solution, doctor. You have a system that's only for $289. That's worth thousands of dollars. How do I know this? Because I've been going through this. I wish I got it earlier. I almost told you, hey, let's get together in about another week or two, because all I wanted to do was listen to your modules, because I was looking at these bullet points that are worth thousands and thousands of dollars. Because if you go to a doctor, you're going to spend thousands of dollars to try to maintain the pain. And you talk about not maintaining. I'm going to get out of the way, if you wouldn't mind telling us about your $289 special and why it's so important for people to get this.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot to unpack there, but really, we see this as almost a battle, if you will. And our battle is to begin changing the narrative on the internet. Like, Mark, you just looked it up. You said, is neuropathy reversible? And if one of your viewers just keys that in, you're going to see Dr. Google coming back saying it is not a reversible condition. But just like you found, it's something that you can manage. And what they mean by that is to manage the symptoms, to kick the can a little further down the road. So one of the most commonly prescribed medications by far is a drug called gabapentin. Oh, yeah. It's also known as Neurontin. Lyrica is a cousin of that. Now, these are anti-seizure medications that are used off-label because they also find that it can help with neuropathy symptoms. I say it like that, neuropathy symptoms, because I talk to my patients all the time. If your car is running low on oil and it starts squeaking and sputtering and making really loud noises, if you bring that car to a mechanic and say it's squeaking and buzzing and making all kinds of weird screechy sounds, what is it? They go, okay, let's run a few diagnostics on it. They pull the dipstick, they put a thing in the tailpipe, and they do all kinds of diagnostics, and they come back and they say, we found your problem. You go, great. What is it? And they say, well, your car. And then what they do is they're going to convert the symptoms into Latin, right? So they're going to say, in Latin, they're going to say, your car is screeching and making really loud noises. They're going to call it the symptoms and maybe put a syndrome on it. And they're going to say, what I want you to do, or what we're going to do, is we're going to install some big speakers in your car. And we're going to do 30 of them. They're top-notch speakers. We're going to get you a Pioneer, and we're going to get you a huge amplifier. And when you start hearing the squeaking, what I want you to do is just turn the volume up, put it on your regular good channel so that you don't hear the noise anymore. Now, if your mechanic did that, you'd be scratching your head and you'd probably be like, what are you kidding me? No mechanic in their right mind would treat the symptom. Another way of doing it, one mechanic might say, oh, I'm not going to do that. What we're going to do is give you some earmuffs. So you put the earmuffs on and make sure they're really good and plug it up so you don't hear the sound. That's the exact same thing as gabapentin is to the burning pain of neuropathy. You're just going la, 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 and sure, you're more comfortable, but meanwhile, you're running lower and lower and lower on oil, and eventually that engine's going to seize, and then you're going to be all upset because your car doesn't work. The way it happens with neuropathy is the damage to the nerves keeps getting higher and higher and higher and higher, and eventually the earmuffs, or the big speakers no longer work. You can no longer ignore the symptoms because it is so loud. The feet are so painful. You're not sleeping at night. They're tingling. You're falling. You don't have balance. It's affecting your sexual organs. You have erectile dysfunction. You have other things that neuropathy can have. And eventually you're like, I can't take it anymore. And then maybe you see some crazy guy with a book like this that says, hey, neuropathy is reversible. You know, we can make the impossible possible. And maybe you fall into some sort of podcast like this. But this whole time you've been hearing, like, from your trusted doctor and the neurologist, you've been hearing all this, that you have neuropathy. There's nothing you can do. Just take this gabapentin. You learn to get used to it. You're just getting older. Woe is you. Right? Well, I'm more like the mechanic. The mechanic would never put earmuffs on you or tell you to ignore it or put some big loud speakers in. A mechanic would say, I found the problem.
Exactly.
You have nerve damage and it's from your diabetes or your chemotherapy or your mold in your house. We need to fix that problem. We need to treat the nerves to allow them to heal better and get out of the way. And since I could use this on your podcast, allow God to do what God intended us to do.
Exactly.
God made us self-healing organisms. We're just lowering the obstacles so that self-healing mechanism and organism that God endowed us upon can do its job. And that's really what this course is all about.
I love it. You hit on a couple key points that I have a question. I know, and I want to get this out of the way. Not all doctors are created equal. Just like, hey, not all pizza makers are. Everyone's a little bit different. But why do we do more patching? Meaning we just give a pill for this and we give a pill for that instead of looking at the root cause and how can we not just treat it, but to reverse it? Why? And these people, now again, I'm not pointing hands. Like I said, not all doctors are created equal, but these people went into medicine to become a doctor, which is not easy to do, and spend many years, 10, 15 years just to go to schooling, and it's on schooling. Why not? Why put a patch on it?
Excellent question. I like the way you just dive right down and just get to the root of the conversation. Doctors and Western medicine is called allopathy. Okay. And a lot of your patients, or not your patients, but your viewers have heard of this thing called homeopathy. So we're going to break that down. But in Western medicine, the term is allopathy or an allopathic doctor. It's literally within the word itself. I think it's Latin, but we know that pathy, just like in neuropathy, allopathy, homeopathy means a condition or a disease. Now, homeo means, like in homeostasis, it means same as, it means balance, bring back into balance. So homeopathy or homeopathy means you give something to maybe increase the fever, if that's what you have. You give something to increase, sweating or whatever it is that you're taking. But the field of Western medicine is allopathic, and allo means the opposite of. So if you think about it, in the paradigm of Western medicine and allopathic medicine, is that if you have pain, you do something to bring the pain down. So you do the opposite of that. If you have a high fever, you do something to bring it down. Okay?
Minimize.
So the doctors are trained to help us feel better. Now, if you're like me and you sprained this joint playing basketball, you went up for a block and some strong guy bent it back and dislocated it. This is a good thing. This is where doctors thrive. They're going to go in and do a surgery to repair all the ligament damage and the stretching and all this stuff out. He's not really so interested in fixing my pain, but rather the problem.
I got it.
In Western medicine, I believe they thrive. And here in America, I think they're the best in the world on emergency care. So
yeah,
I break a femur.
I agree.
I want some drugs to make the pain go down so that they can go in and set the bone and cast it and do all that, and then get out of the way and let nature take over. But see, they've taken this allopathic model and they've converted it into, that's how you get people healthy. And so by going allopathic, or the opposite, treating the symptom, you can't drug yourself healthy. Never medicate yourself into wellness, right? But the emergency care allopathic model, I think, is a great model, and it works. But you're wondering, why would they do that? It doesn't make sense. Because that's their training in a phrase. That's how they were trained to promote health. You make somebody feel good. Well, we're not interested in making people feel good. We're here to help them heal good. And that's a major paradigm shift.
You know, just listening to you, I'm not a doctor, so I'm able to say some crazy stuff. It's pretty cool. I'm bad. But if I was, I would be like, I came into this profession to get to the root with my colleagues instead of giving pills, because 100,000 people die with overdose, or they die because of over the counter. It's 100,000 people a year. It used to be 50,000. It's doubled, I think.
More than that now.
Probably. Yeah. I can't keep up. That's the deal. But my point is that there's got to be some, I think, after a while, because to be a doctor, I don't care what anybody says, but you have to have a big heart. You're into the heart healing, people living. I think what happens is the system, we'll call it the big box system, says, this is it. You signed here, you do this, heart over here. You do what we tell you. And I think after a while, you just get numb. And you're like, this is what I do. I got to take care of my family. I've got $150,000 worth of schooling. It's not going to pay itself.
Yeah.
I'm not making an excuse for anybody. I'm just saying I see how the system can do that. I'm not here to beat on the system, but I want to talk about this. This is beautiful that you have this system for $289 that people can actually reverse this neuropathy. Yeah. What have you seen? Because I know it's out, but it's not fully out, I believe, as you were telling me.
It's not totally done yet.
Oh man, okay, yeah. So I get to enjoy it. So some of the things, I'm kind of cruising through this, and I'm going to be eating it like a steak, real slow. The doctor hits on the anatomy. This is really important, my friends. When was the last time that you went to the doctor's office and they hit on the anatomy of your pain?
Yeah.
Not mine. Mine's in there. I'm in there 5 minutes. I'm gone. Hitting on the philosophy, hitting on treatments, hitting on case studies. This is huge. I have never seen anything out there like this. I can't wait till this goes out there, because I know a whole bunch of docs are going to be copying. I'm not stupid. This is genius. So I want to tell you guys right now, we have a special that is going to be going. This will also be on the front of the commercial, meaning everybody's going to hear this first, but I'm going to say it's near the middle of our talk. But for the first 20 callers, matter of fact, I'll let you say it for the first 20 callers, doctor.
Well, for the first 20 callers from your podcast, if they text us and text ELITE RN 101, RN stands for Reversing Neuropathy 101. And I want to know where they come from, because your viewers here are in an elite group being together with for your group. Okay. So these people, for the first 20 people, we're going to give it to them, because like you said, Mark, I'm up to 7 modules right now. When it's all said and done, it's probably going to be closer to 10. But it really starts with the philosophy of healing. And then, like you said, we go into the anatomy of nerves and the anatomy of nerve damage. Then we go into the physiology, which is how the nerves are working, how they're supposed to work, how they get damaged. Then I actually go into, with a non-biased approach, I know I'm a bit biased, but I actually go into, how is it commonly treated? What are the good sides of gabapentin? Okay, I'll tell you right now, I have a lot of people that come in and say, I couldn't live without gabapentin. For the last 5 years, it's helped me get to sleep. I was a zombie before that, and at least it brings it down to a level where I can sleep and I can actually not be a zombie throughout the day. For the electric pain, the shocks, the things like that, the gabapentin, the Lyrica, it can help manage that so we can be sane. I mean, I have some people that literally want to kill themselves. I have some people that are suicidal. This pain is relentless and it's there all the time, and they just don't know anything else to do. And it's a little bit of a saving grace. So I go through the most common Western medicine approaches in a, hey, this is where this thing seems to be good based on the research. And here's the downside of that. This one, the good, and this, the not good. And we go through Western medicine.
Right.
We'll go through alternative treatments. We'll talk about things like meditation, biofeedback, maybe things like physical therapy, exercise, water therapy. And I break down as many of these things as I could find. I know there's a gazillion of them out there, but I try and pick the top ones. And then, so that's an entire module all by itself. And then the next module is, how do I do it? So I got this book. I tell people I can reverse it 85 to 90% of the time. Well, how are you actually doing it? I talk about it in the book, but the book, I can really only scratch the surface. I can't go so deep. And as you can see in the module, I then go into, here's exactly how I do it. Here's the diet I use. This is why I use the diet. This is why you need to do it. Here's how you do it. We actually interview one of our health coaches to talk about the diet. Literally, one of the bonus things in there is I'm actually giving you my health coach manual. Wow. So in the manual, it's got recipes, shopping lists, what to eat, what not to eat, why not to eat it. And then if a patient of ours comes in and says, I've been following your diet, and I've been doing your supplements, because I actually go through all the supplements, why we use, which ones we use, what they do. And man, let's face it, some people, not everybody is going to knock it out of the park. So some people change a diet, they add a supplement, and maybe they get diarrhea, maybe they get constipation. In the healthcare manual that we give, it literally says what to do if they complain of diarrhea after starting this diet and supplements, what to do if they have constipation, what about this, like literally all the answers are there. So we will actually go through the diet I recommend in very much detail. There's videos, there's interviews, and then there's the manual that my health coach will use as well. We also link with a lot of the videos that I have on YouTube, because of course I know my videos. So I'll say, here's this video, we'll give the link and they can go right to the link where I talk about that topic. We then will go into we go into literally all of the therapies that I might choose from in my program, because it's not a cookie cutter approach, but I go, hey, here's this tool that we use to increase circulation when we find that circulation is a problem. I literally, I don't know if you got to see it yet, but I have a 1-hour interview with the CEO of the company who uses the infrared lights that are the most known around the world. I interview that CEO for an hour. We're diving deep into the science. Now, these would be for your knowledge people. Not everybody's going to want to sit there for a whole hour and know about it, but I interview him for an hour. On the electrical modality we use, I literally am on the phone for 1 hour with the inventor of the tool that we use for most of my neuropathy patients. So, I mean, I'm just like opening up the entire box. I'm pulling the curtains back and I'm showing people and teaching people, this is exactly how I do it. So it's really fun. I interview my health coach, and then of course it's me talking philosophy and a philosophy of healing, and then how we do it. And then we have frequently asked questions. What about troubleshooting? How long do I need to do the diet? I mean, we go through all of that stuff. So I just feel like I want to give people content. I'm one guy. I can only handle so many cases, and we are at the brim of exploding and constantly trying to hire more people. And I figure we run across people, maybe, 10 or 20% who just like, I need to do this, but I don't even have 2 wooden nickels to rub together. What can I do? And so that's why I wrote the book. Like, well, here's my book. It's $20. Start with that. This program, though, is estimated to be at over a $10,000 or $11,000 in value of what we bring. And like you said, and again, it sounds like I'm patting myself on the back, but I too have never seen anything like this with the interviews of the inventors and the CEOs. We have another tool called the nerve plate. This guy's a genius who invented this thing. I interview the nerve plate inventor. I got it. It's amazing. So it's, of course, I'm biased. I love it. But we really wanted to break it down so somebody could do it like in 3 easy payments or maybe 1 payment. We came up with $289. I want to get it at such a low rate that as many people as possible can have access to this and begin healing themselves. And then talking with you, I had the brainstorm. You asked a little favor. What can you do to help my viewers out? And I said, you know what? Let's give the first 20. The first 20 people, if they text that Elite RN 101, we're going to know that they come from you, and we're going to have special treatment for them. Now, the program isn't out yet, but we'll be able to work with them. And so these are going to be our first 20 people. So we're literally, if you decide to do it and you're the one that first 20 that gets it for free, you're going to do a little bit of beta testing for us. This was working, this didn't work. I'd recommend that. Your mic wasn't so good, like all of that stuff. So we're going to ask for a little favor as well before we really roll this thing out. So we could consider your viewers.
Oh, we'll bring them.
Beta testers.
Oh, we'll bring them. Yeah, I love it. When do you think this will possibly be done and ready?
I'd say within a month. So today is June, what am I saying? January 11th of 2023. So, well, actually our goal was back in October, but you know, I keep adding things. I keep getting excited about it. I want it to be perfect, but we're really looking, let's say Valentine's Day. All right.
Beautiful. Okay.
Love Day. That's when we expect it to be out.
Awesome. And by the way, I believe that you're able to, and you should pat yourself on the back, because I work and talk with a lot of doctors, and I've never seen anybody do this. I'm excited. When I talked to my wife about it, she was like, what? I was like, yeah. I go, I think this is going to be revolutionary. Why do I say that, everybody out there? Neuropathies, I think it's like, it's becoming an epidemic with our families with neuropathy. And Dr. Prax hit on something, and I hope you guys, my viewers, are listening. He mentioned something. And I'm a keyword person. And one of the things he mentioned was diet. Diet is huge. I know you're probably eating your bonbons right now, everyone out there, and your Doritos with MSG, and then you get a headache. And you wonder why
not your viewers.
And then you're wondering, and then you're wondering why there's pinging going on in the lake. Guys, we've all struggled with it. But here's the cool thing. He talks on the diet. Do you know how much it would cost to get a manual from somebody? I mean, just think about it real quick. You have someone's going to lay it out through video, not just audio, video. Where most of the world is 95%, visual. I mean, that's why we buy things. But you have something that's going to literally not just change your life, but other people's life. And you have the hard copy. You've got the video manual, and then at the same time, you can go buy his book, the Holy Grail book. This is like the Indiana Jones. You know the Holy Grail from Indiana Jones? This is it right here. And what's beautiful about this, my friends, is everybody needs this, because we've got 90% of people have neuropathy problems. Numbness right here. It won't go away. Numbness, tingling. Maybe, headaches. Nobody likes to talk a lot about that. Did you know that when you change your diet and you eat something specifically towards you, everything changes? And yes, I believe that everybody should go out, purchase the book. It's $20. And if you say, you know what, I don't have because let me tell you guys something. After the first 20, he's going to be charging $289 for the series. Better than spending thousands of dollars on just treating. We're not treating, we're reversing. So if you say, well, you know what, Mark, I don't have the $289. That's a bunch of malarkey. And I'll tell you why. And yes, I am selling right now. If you knew that your mother needed $5,000 to live, would you get it? I'll tell you what, I'd get that $5,000 quicker than you can say the word repent and the rapture. And I'd get that to my mom or my father, whoever it is. My point is that how excited are you to reverse this? And you've got to be in that mode, because you're worth it. Remember, you're a beautiful 66 Shelby. I'm a Mustang guy. But with that being said, you talk on the diet, and what are a couple keys nuggets that you can drop in on the show right now? Like, what are some of the things, maybe top couple things that you notice about diet that a majority of the people that you've seen are eating that's really stopping them?
You know, I gotta say, I'm going to answer that question, but I'm also feeling really compelled and drawn to talk to this person right here, who maybe they didn't get within the first 20 to get the Reversing Neuropathy 101 course for free, and they're like, man, I couldn't get it. It's June and they're all gone with the 20. And you mentioned the book, so this is what I want to do. Just text me anyway. Okay, text me anyway, and maybe what you could do is, if we don't have any of the 20, we're already through with the 20. I'll send you the book. I will send you a copy of the book for free. I'd ask you to just cover the shipping and the handling. It's, I don't know, $5 or something like that. So I will personally send you a copy of the book so that at least you can take some action. All right. And also, if it's after the 20 and there's no more free modules left over, there's no more free courses left over, then we can at least get a book in your hand. If you need help and you don't have the $289 and you need to break it up into payments, we'll just figure it out.
Easy.
All right. I'm not making millions on $289 or a $20 book. I just feel drawn. I feel my purpose from God is to help people. And I happen to be really good at this thing called neuropathy. So don't call me for an earache or a backache. I mean, this is what I do. I just do neuropathy. Oh. So for that person who's here and you text and we say, sorry, we don't have any more of the 20, remind me, okay? And I will send you a copy of the book. Just cover my shipping and handling, okay?
I love it. That's beautiful.
Now, for the gem on the diet, we're going to give your people some good content. Anti-inflammatory approach. You've got to reduce inflammatory foods. Here are the biggies, probably in order of the things that are harming us the most: sugar, carbs, dairy, alcohol, cigarettes.
When you say carbs, can we expand on that?
Yeah, right. Because carbs are found in carrots. I'm not talking about those kind of carbs, or broccoli. We're not talking, you know what I'm talking about. Breads, pastas, bagels. A patient, she's so sweet. She or he, they own a donut shop. And what they do, they brought in a whole bunch of donut holes for us to try. And I just had to like grimace, like, oh, thank you so much. Of course, I'm not going to eat these things. The reality is, what, you don't like donuts? Of course I like donuts. I would love to gobble up 5 or 6 of those things. But after doing so much studying, I thank her for her generosity. And so I'm kind of put sarcasm aside, like, you know, I'm not going to eat that crap. I don't say that, but that is so thoughtful. Thank you so much.
Love it.
I literally feel bad. Like, you might think, we're going to go ahead and give it to the panhandler on the way home. Like, I would even feel bad about doing that. The truth is I would just thank her for her gracious gift, the intent, the love behind that was intended, and then I'm going to throw it away. And that's what I would recommend that your listeners do to your donuts, to your pastas, to your breads and things like that.
Isn't pasta great for you? Isn't pasta good for you? You know, nice spaghetti. I mean,
it sure does taste good, Mark. And I'll be honest with you, I don't have neuropathy and I don't have any major health concerns other than the sprain that I got on my thumb right here. But I will have pasta. It's usually not wheat-based. It might be made from quinoa, it might be made from brown rice or something like that. But wheat, let me talk to you about, let's go biblical here a little bit, okay? When we read in the Bible about Jesus breaking bread, right, with all of his disciples and the poor people and the rich and whatever, when he's breaking bread, I want to let you know that bread and that wheat, man, that has been so genetically modified and bastardized. And I mean, they've done so many different things to make it taste better and sell better and all that. I guarantee you that the bread that Jesus ate was probably packed full of protein, of course, carbs, lots of fiber and all that good stuff that we hear. But the bread that they talk about in the Bible, even the bread that they talk about when Huckleberry Finn was running around, man, Huckleberry Finn would be lucky to get a piece of bread with some butter on it, and that would like last him for like the whole day. You can't imagine bread with some butter on it lasting us about an hour. That's because it's been genetically modified. So the bread we read about in the Bible is really changed in 1972, and that's a whole other topic that I cover in the book, but they started modifying it then. So the bread that anybody who's like 50 or older, the bread you grew up on is not the same as the crap that they produce now. It looks the same, it probably tastes the same,
Smells the
same, but it's not the same. So pasta, pasta's in that category as well. It's not the same because they genetically modified it.
Okay, well, what about meatballs? So you're okay with the meatballs for somebody, does it matter what type of meatballs you have?
Yeah, right. Should we go with chicken or turkey? Should we go with vegan balls or whatever?
Exactly.
Yeah, what I encourage, and in the book, I go biblical as well. And I love to say this, Mark. I say, hey, if you could have found it in the Garden of Eden,
oh wow,
you can have it.
Wow.
Right. So my thought there is more akin to the paleo diet. That's where I like it. If some of my patients are, way far out there and they're gone and they've brought them to themselves this condition called diabetes, diabetes type 2. Then for those patients, I would usually put them on a keto diet. Now, this really should be all under a doctor's control. I'm not saying me, I'd be happy to consult with you. You really want to get under a doctor's control because it will immediately start changing your health. And the medications that you're on, like your metformin, if you have diabetes, is going to be needed less. Cholesterol, blood pressure medications, those are going to be, you're going to need to make some adjustments on that. So if you make a diet change like that, you really need a doctor to guide you through that whole program. But to answer your question on what kind of meatballs I heard you should stay away from steak or you should not eat pork or whatever. If you could find it in the Garden of Eden, okay, or if our paleo ancestors could find it, hunt it, gather it. In other words, steak. I'll ask you this, Mark, it might sound like a trick question. What are cows supposed to eat?
Grass.
I know you're like, what is this, a trick question?
Right. I'm like,
eat grass, and they're supposed to drink water, period. That's why
it.
They have three stomachs, right? Or 3 or 4 stomachs so they can break it down. What do we feed cows, though? In the feed farms, we're feeding them grain. We're feeding them things like bread, and we're feeding them feed that comes from things like corn. Now, cows can eat corn and they like it, but this crap is full of sugar.
You're right.
And they're feeding them that in order to fatten them up and bring them to market faster, because it's not about, you don't sell based on quality, you sell based on quantity, the poundage. All right.
So you modify it. It's becoming modified.
Yes. So what I would recommend for your meatballs, if you're going to do hamburger, for example, get it as close to how it was in the Garden of Eden. So that would mean grass-fed and grass-finished beef. Now, if you can't get that, I mean, some is better than others. I'd rather you do, standard beef rather than, bread all the time. But again, try and get it as close to the way it was when our cave women were running around. That's what we want. So bison, they just ate grass all day. They did a fresh kill. They processed them and they ate them fresh, right? So you want to get your eggs. You want chickens. They should free range. They should not be eating corn all the time. They're supposed to be eating bugs and grass and, all kinds. They clean up all kinds of stuff. So that's really what I want to get people thinking is more biblical. How was it in Jesus's time? They didn't have feedlots for cows back then. Cows were eating grass. So hopefully that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. And I love how you broke it down. You painted a picture, which I'm a picture person. You painted a picture, you drove it home. So what if someone says, I can't afford to eat healthy, but at the same time, they're going to McDonald's every other day and getting a latte. What are your thoughts on that? You hit the nail on the head. And part of now it's going to sound like I'm trying to sell the course,
I'm trying to sell an idea here. Okay. I'm trying to help break the paradigm. We're trying to win the war, Mark.
Come on.
And war is won when somebody does a Google search and they search in Google and it says, is neuropathy reversible? Right now, Google is saying it's not reversible. You can only manage the symptoms. We've won the war, Mark, when somebody does a search and it says, it used to be thought that neuropathy was irreversible, but now Dr. Prax has shown us how we now know that it is reversible, and here's his course. So that's really the war, the battle that I'm trying to win. But in terms of your question, which I now forgot.
So it's okay.
I have the answer for that. So we're going through all of the things we would call objections to a patient or a person saying, there's no way I can do that. I've been eating this way for my entire life. Or to your question, we actually have solved that problem. When people say, well, that all sounds good, but organic and grass-fed food is so expensive, I can't do it because it's too expensive. So we actually wrote a booklet on it that's called How to Eat Healthy and Reverse Your Neuropathy, the food that tastes good and is cheaper than the way you're eating. I don't know the exact title, but I literally am writing that, and it's going to be in the course. So I've been eating this way my whole entire life. How to eat healthy to reverse your neuropathy, how to eat good tasting healthy food that's cheaper than the way you're doing, and you reverse your neuropathy at the same time. So I show it in the course. So we're going to be able to handle that. Some people say, I don't have time. How to make all the time. So we have that asset in there. How to get all of your therapies done in under a half an hour and still get to work. Like, we have that in there. So
wow.
I've really thought it all the way through. What are the big concerns and the objections and the reasons why people think they can't do that? I got it in there.
Okay, I got another one for you. So let's just say someone, I'll pretend me. I have a stage 2 neuropathy. Can that be helped?
Well, I don't know if that's an asset.
I'm just saying they call it so many things nowadays. There's different types of neuropathy.
Yeah. I got moderate, I got severe.
We'll say diabetes. I'm going to pretend I got diabetes. They almost cut my leg off just about a year ago. My leg was able to heal, but I had a hole at the bottom of my foot. It's no longer. It's now healing up now. I got the blood flow going, but guess what? I'm still eating sugar, and I'm still smoking my vape, but I'm no longer smoking a cigarette. So, hey, I did a little bit better. I was doing about a pack a day, but now I'm just doing the vape. Can you help somebody like me?
Yeah. The truthful answer, and it's all about the truth, Mark. This is what I tell people. I don't know. It would be a lie. It'd be a straight up lie for me to say, I can help you, and I can help you, and I can help you, and I can reverse this, and I can reverse that. The reality is, Mark, there are limitations to matter. Matter has limitations. So you could damage these nerves to such a degree that it's not likely that it's going to come back. And I actually did a video on that. When I went on vacation, this poor plant didn't get watered and the shades were pulled. And I came back 2 weeks later, and this poor little girl was flat on the floor, and many of those beautiful looking big leaves right there were brown. And I'm like, oh my goodness, we messed up. So if it was damaged so bad, if it went probably another week, I might not have been able to bring that plant back. I mean, a green thumb only goes so far, right? So I'd love to be able to answer your question and say, oh yeah, I can fix that. Like, nobody can say that, myself included. So what we'd have to do in a case like that, I would actually have to assess. And I would have to assess not only how bad the nerve damage is, but how many medications is this guy on? And most importantly, what's their mindset? Because if I got a stubborn person that is in the paradigm that it can't be fixed, and they're skeptical, and their doctor says it can't be fixed, but their wife is dragging them in, and they're not willing to make any change, that'd be like somebody saying, can you fix this? But I don't want to water it. Man, we shouldn't even start. because you need to water it, and we need you to pull the shades. I don't want to pull the shades. It's too hard to do that. Can you spray paint it? Can you give me something else to make it better? I don't want to spend all that money. It's really expensive to water it. Like, man, we're not going to be a good fit here. So I have to assess their mindset more than anything else. But yeah, so
actually, no, you're right. You're right. The mindset's one of the biggest things, because I always hear people say, well, my doctor said there's no cure. So they gave up because their doctor said there's no cure. You can't reverse. You can't do anything.
Yeah.
And
then
so
I go like this. I had a patient today, literally, this doctor had this, actually yesterday, this doctor had this patient on 26 different prescription medications.
Dang.
I said, wow, how long have you been working with this doctor? And he said 10 years, but he's the best. He's this, he's that, he's certified and everything. I said, let me just stop right there. How's that working for you? Well, it's not good. I have this, I'm not sleeping. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, you've given 10 years. I mean, you really gave it the old college try here. You've been trying 10 years. You're doing the best that medicine has to offer. You got 26 different medications. Why did you call me? Because if your doctor, who's so good, had solved this problem, we wouldn't be on the Zoom right now. And he just went, oh, that's true. I said, maybe, sir, maybe you need a change of paradigm, and perhaps you might need a change of approach, and you might need a change of doctors. Because if your doctor hadn't solved this problem in 10 years, the likelihood of him solving it in the next 10 years is going to be really low. So we have a saying around here, and that is, if nothing changes, nothing changes.
Wow. I love that. And it's interesting with what you said. And it's so, as you know, in Proverbs, it says what a man thinks he becomes. That's half the battle. And most of the people that I talk with, they have put this jacket on that it's my cancer or my neuropathy. What did you do? Did you go into a store and you had to take a couple of neuropathies? But we treat it like that instead of treating it like, no, like you said, this body was meant to heal. Now, if you're a 66 Mustang GT, and you're putting unleaded, it's going to run like an unleaded vehicle. But if you put the premium, the quality, we need to take better care of ourselves, my friends out there. You are worth more than you think. You have family that loves you and depends on you. Think more of yourself. And I always tell people like this. Let's paint a picture. I go, I like doing this. It's a thing I used to do with my sales guys. They're all struggling financially, and they're like, my numbers are low. Back in the day when I was running Mazda, Dodge, Jeep, and Chrysler, I was running the internet department, and I said, okay, I want you to shut your eyes for a second. They're like, what? Look at me all weird. What do you mean shut my eyes? I go, come on, just bear with me. And are you selling anything? No. Okay, thank you. There we go. I go, picture. I want you to close your eyes, and I go, I want you to visualize walking to your computer, and you get a voicemail on your computer saying that you just received money in your Chase bank account, and they want you to call them. You saw the email, you call them up, you give them a phone call, and they're telling you, hey, we just want to let you know that, you have, $3 million in your bank account. And I go, stop for a second. I go, how are you feeling right now? He goes, I'm ecstatic. I'm very excited right now. I'm just happy. So let's pause right there. We've got emotions. Fear means false evidence appearing real, but we make it appear real. Whatever we're going through, whether it's finances, whether it's life, whether it's someone passing away, even struggling with diabetes, we make it more real than it is. So I was telling him, so you feel excited? Oh yeah. I go, what else are you sensing? He goes, I'm just excited about this phone call. And I go, okay, well, let's go deeper. Let's go take a look at the account and let's go make sure the money's there. So he went through the whole group. Long story short, or short story long, I'll stick with the short, that we went to this whole little short movie clip together. And long story short, he basically saw the money in his account, and now he bought his own home. He knew the way it smelled being in his home, the kind of furniture, he dressed it. And the point is after we were done, he said, I can do this. Because he realized that this was all mostly up in his head. It's a mentality. And we have to realize that back to the body will heal. And I like what you said, I can't help everybody, because how are you coming to me? Are they coming to you like, you know what? Hey, doc, I got diabetes, stage 2, good luck. No, but if you got, that's one person. Okay. We don't want to really work with that person unless if they have a mindset is, I'm ready to change. I will do whatever it takes to get my body back in shape because I want to be there for my grandchildren. That's the person. Because if that person came with a why, that other person came with a why not, why they couldn't.
That's right.
So anyways, I get excited about this neuropathy.
I thought Henry Ford summed it up well, and I know you're a Ford guy, so Henry Ford said, "If you think you can or think you cannot, you are right." It's
so true. I mean, would you have become a doctor if you're like, you know what, man, it's just too hard? You know what I mean? So one more question on this. So on this video module, you're saying you're probably expecting about 10 module series. And what would you say the average length would be?
That's a good question. The videos, the interview videos themselves, the 3 biggest interviews that I did about together with the CEOs and the inventors of the equipment, each of those are right around an hour. And that's probably what we're going to end up talking here on this one. But the content in there, so it's not only video content, but it is literally a curriculum. So you're buying a course, you're buying a curriculum. It's like going to the JC or the university and saying, I want to learn accounting. So I'm going to take accounting 101. You got the professor there, you got the books that you got to read, you might have some videos that you got to watch. It's literally like that. So for my students, that's what we're calling them, you're going to start on the course, you're going to sign in, put your sign-in credentials in, and you're going to go to module 1, and you click on that, and it's going to start with a video, because you said it right. Video is king. I want to be short, sweet, get right to the point, and we're going to do a little bit of teaching, and then we'll have the bonus stuff that they can print out or they can read right on the screen or whatever. People can go as deep down as they want on this thing and really study the heck out of it. And a lot of my knowledge-based patients, my researchers, are probably going to read and study everything because that's just their personality. My action-type patients are probably just going to go,
right away.
I literally get in there. I'm like, hey, listen, if you don't want to know the anatomy and you don't want to know the physiology, go ahead and skip. And you just want to know, what does this guy do? You could skip the whole section on what Western medicine does and what current therapies are and what anatomy fit. I said, literally, just go right to module 3. If you want to know how it's done, go right to module 3. Just skip. So you can skip around and play around that way. But some of the modules are short and some of the modules are long, just based on the content that's in there.
I have another question. Are you going to have something in the module to where if they want to pay extra to have a one-on-one talk with you, are you going to have it built in that to where they can have like, hey, they can spend maybe 45 minutes with the doctor or, whatever time they have, because everyone's got a different pace. Some people are slower. They want to ask more questions. Are you going to have anything in there where they're able to maybe, pay a little something to have maybe like a one-on-one with you? I'm just wondering.
Man, we want to meet people where they are. And like,
because you're going to have people around the world.
Yeah. I don't know. I really don't know how many of these books I sold. It might be 50,000, 100,000. Literally, I don't know, but I get the feedback from Amazon and it's a lot. There's way more people who just read it and probably reverse their neuropathy all on their own, and I don't even know about it. I do get the occasional person that'll call up, like the guy I was telling you about with 26 medications. Like, how'd you find us? I read your book. And I didn't even really put anything, but something like, here's my phone number if you want to reach me. But yes, in the module, they can go at whatever pace they want to go at. You can rip through it, or you can slowly pace yourself over time. As I go through the different things that we offer, like, hey, right now we're on module, I think it's 3. Module 3, the diet. Let's talk about the diet. And as we go through the diet, I talk about that and I say, here's the recipes and the shopping list and all that stuff. They can do it all on their own. And then we go into, here are the exact supplements that we use. Here's why we use the supplements. And then I think we are putting in a link right there. If you're interested in more information on this supplement, click on that, boom, it'll take them to a page. They can buy 1, 2, all 3 or 4 of them or whatever. And I think we're also putting that in there. If you ever want to get extra help and consult with me and my team, click this link and we can get that organized for you as well. We'll usually start out, and I think we do this for this course, but we're going to start out with a free consultation. So anybody who's in the course, they'll click on the link. You don't even have to pay. You'll meet with one of my staff. They're going to consult. They're going to get some information to see if this might be a good candidate and whether we should meet with one of the doctors or not. If they do think so, they're going to recommend that. If they don't, they would say, you should stick with the course or maybe get the book or something like that. So to answer your question in short, yes.
I love it. You know, there's just a lot of people don't realize how much people pay for neuropathy a year. And just because I work with a lot of doctors, people spend an average between $3,000 to $5,000, I would say, within a year, different types of doctors. And then also people are spending in the big box 15, 20,000 or even
these
more.
People are spending $200-300 and sometimes more dollars a month just in drugs. And I will say some of our patients might spend $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. And I've had some super complex cases, like think about 26 medication guy I saw his problem list from this doctor, and it's like 30 different things, like from serious things like not only diabetes type 2, but COPD, thyroid issues, obesity, high blood pressure, depression, anxiety, like all of these things. And he has severe neuropathy, and he's like, can you fix me? I'm like, well, I'm going to have to unravel and unpack a lot of medical mismanagement that's been going on for the last 10 years. But a case like that could go even double what you're saying. And I'm not trying to scare people off, Mark, but there's a lot more to cost than dollars, because what you said earlier is that people are paying not only through insurance premiums and maybe to alternative doctors, Western medicine, or doctors like me, they're paying with a credit card, cash, or check, but they're paying in a bigger way. And you made mention to that earlier, man. They're paying by not connecting with their grandkids. They're paying by not sleeping well and suffering and feeling like a zombie throughout the day. And how do you put a price tag on a good night of sleep? I mean, what's the value of that? Or being able to, like right now, I'm going to go on a date with my wife and I'm going to do it pain-free and we're going to have a really good time. And what's the value of being able to do that? Or even just stand at the sink and do some dishes without having to sit in a chair or be in a wheelchair or get an amputation. So it's like, when I think of how much someone would pay, I think there's many different forms of payment, but people pay the price for losing independence, and they pay the price for losing the ability to do what they want to do, or if I could use your language, to live in the grace of God and do what God intended us to do, because there's a major payment there, and that you cannot put on a credit card. You can't define or put a price tag on freedom or independence.
Exactly.
I have patients who can't go to church anymore. What's the cost of that? So I get a little bit sidetracked, but there's major costs beyond dollars and cents.
No, you're right. And again, you and I can go on and on because there's so much I want to talk about, but we've been on for an hour. So I'm going to be respectful to your time and make sure you go on that beautiful date with your wife. Dr. Brian, I just want to say thank you so much for being here on the show. You have been a blessing, and I'm excited that you're able to bless people around the world. My friends, make sure you all go to reversingneuropathy.com, reversingneuropathy.com. And again, thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah. And if they want to reach out to us and become one of the first 20 beta testers for us, you will not be dissatisfied. You'll really like it. Just type in, and I don't know if you can put it on a ticker or something like that, but we're just going to type in elite, because I think your listeners are elite people. So we're going to put them in that category. So it's going to be elite RN and you're going to text us. And Mark, I think I forgot to give you the number, but you're going to text us at 434 478 1899. 434. I'm squinting to see this here. 434 478 1899, and just text in there Elite RN 101, and you can be one of our first 20 beta testers. I'm going to ask you to give me some feedback on this. We're constantly going to be improving this thing, but that's one of the reasons why I would like to do it free. Not only do you have the best clients and best visitors and observers here, but we're going to ask your people to help us in making this even better for others.
I appreciate you, and you have a blessed day.
Okay, thanks so much, Mark.